Hey pageant fans, welcome back to another episode of T Stands on Pageantry. I'm your host, Teresa K. Cole. I know it's been a minute since I've been on here, but your girl has been super busy with lots of pageant related stuff, none of which I can share right now, but I do promise to come back with an update as soon as I can. But in this episode, I want to do an update on the Miss Universe Cayman Islands 2024 competition because as of right now, the time of this recording, we're about 2 weeks out from the competition. So the competition will be happening on Saturday, August 31st. And so I just want to kind of reintroduce the contestants to you, give you a little bit of an update. So we started the competition out with 7 young ladies, and unfortunately we lost one of them. She decided to withdraw from the competition. Now it's not really clear why she did that, but I do know that she was our first mother and wife to enter the pageant. So I can only imagine or speculate that maybe it had something to do with family life. A lot of girls in Cayman, when they enter pageants, unfortunately, they kind of do it without any pre-planning. So I don't know if that was the case where she just kind of entered at the last minute and then realized that this is a lot of commitment. And I definitely think that if you are a mother or a wife and you're thinking about entering Miss Universe, definitely plan for it. You're definitely going to need to have a strong support system at home because our competition here in the Cayman Islands, it just lasts really, really long. Like when I did Miss Cayman Islands back in 2016, we started in 2015 and our pageant was like 6 months long. For this year alone, I think they've been in the competition for like 4, maybe 5 months. So it is a lot of commitment. So I totally get it if like you jumped into this thing and you were like, oh wait, this is a lot. So if you're a mother or wife, definitely kind of do a little bit of pre-planning before you enter the competition. And I do hope that we see more mothers and wives coming out and, entering the competition because I think it's a great thing. I love to see it. So let's talk about the contestants that are remaining. So even though contestant number 2 is no longer in the competition, all of the contestants kept their contestant number. So we're going to start with Aaron Broderick. She's contestant number 1. Then we go to contestant number 3, Brianna Wilson. Contestant number 4, Reagan Ruddy. Contestant number 5, Tia McLaughlin. Contestant number 6, Tracy Campbell. And contestant number 7, Janae Rhonda Rambran. So in this video, if you hear me referring to Rhonda, because I know her as Rhonda, a lot of people know her as Rhonda, but her first name is actually Janae, and that's what she's going by, but I will probably call her Rhonda because that's how I know her. So let us get into this. So for this pageant, they have been doing a lot of things. They've been out for months now. So they've attended like Our Little Miss pageant. They've gone to, they've chosen their platform organization. And so they've been supporting the Cayman Heart Foundation. So they've done fundraisers with them, and they did like a fashion show, which I thought was really great practice, to be on stage, have all eyes on them. So I think that was great for them. They've really been pushing the message out there from the Cayman Heart Foundation. They've done a lot of radio interviews as well, and they've had their etiquette dinner. So through the etiquette dinner, they do etiquette training. They've of course had their regular training, which is like runway and like public speaking training and things like that. So they've definitely been really, really busy. One of the events they attended was like an official event at the governor's house. I think it was a part of the King's birthday celebrations, and it was like a garden party. So this is something I want to talk about. I want to stick a pin right here and talk about because I think this is a really important thing to note. Here in Cayman, from what I've observed, and I'm sure if you guys are pageant fans and you've ever looked at Cayman, you would know, you would have picked this up. As a pageant country, we have not really mastered the art of pageant styling. And I think that this really hurts us internationally because when I look at other pageant bloggers and things like that, when they're looking at the contestants and making their list about who's standing out and all of this, they're mostly looking at the way that the contestant or the title holders are like presenting themselves and what they're wearing, their fashion. Is it aligning with the Miss Universe brand? Are they really using their styling skills to stand out at the competition? And I feel like that is something we have not mastered. I mean, I think that we have definitely tried over the years, but I don't think that we've not hit the nail on the head in terms of pageant styling. And I feel like this year's contestants, unfortunately, have fallen victim to that as well, as have so many contestants before them. They're not the first, but it's definitely something that I feel like the community has talked about. Because like when I talk to my friends and people in the community, when I talk about the pageant, you know, everyone was super excited when the girls were introduced because they were new, they were fresh, they looked amazing in those introduction photos. But it's like since then, the excitement for the competition has sort of been like going downhill because the contestants aren't really holding our attention, unfortunately, with their wardrobe. Like they're not really aligning themselves with the Miss Universe brand, if you will. So I just wanted to take a moment to like pause right here and kind of just do a little bit of an analysis. And I feel like this picture is a good picture to use for this, simply because I think it just definitely demonstrates where each contestant is with their styling. And this is not a one-off thing. This is definitely something that I've noticed before this photo and since this photo. It's just a hallmark of how they style themselves. Okay, so like I said, this is a photo from them attending an event at the governor's house. I think it was like a tea party or something like that. Now, I do want to start this conversation off by saying that, you know, in Cayman, I get it. It is very hard to shop for anything really, especially if you're in a pageant. It's hard to find like the right outfit, the right dress, the right shoes, the right this, that, right? So most people in Cayman, they will travel abroad to shop, or they'll order their clothes and ship it to Cayman. But if you're in a pageant, unfortunately, and you get invited to a last minute event, you're not always going to have time to go do any of those things. So this is a pro tip. If you're sitting here watching this and you're thinking, I want to do a pageant next year, definitely start to curate your wardrobe before you enter. Have a few pieces that you can pull out of your closet at any given moment to say, I got something, I'm covered, right? So I definitely feel like this was an event that they did not have a lot of notice about. So I'm going to start with Aaron. So for me, Aaron definitely is the person that when I look at the contestants, I feel like she has the best sense of style amongst the girls. She's the closest to the Miss Universe branding. In this photo, I like the light colored blue dress, but I'm partial to solid colors. I don't know, prints and patterns, especially when they're small and they're busy, I just don't tend to gravitate to that. Like, that doesn't really attract me. So I prefer, if you are going to do prints or patterns, that they're bigger and like less busy. I can tell that this dress is not completely blue. It's not complete solid color. But what I can tell you is that I do like the off the shoulder detail, the sweetheart neckline. I like that. I thought that looks really, really nice. I don't like the ruffle bottom of this dress. Here's another tip too. Like, if you know you're wearing something that may not be the best for the event, just try to make sure that your hair, your makeup, your accessories are on point. Like, they match the event. I personally feel like, I'm not sure if she has her hair in a slick back bun or a slick back ponytail, but I feel like if I were styling her, I would want her to go with a softer updo. And it doesn't necessarily mean like a high bun or anything like that. More like almost like a wedding do, where they do like just a pullback, something out of the face and just opening the face up more, but softer. So not slick, just like loose, messy, something like that. That kind of gives it a soft, romantic kind of vibe. Because you are outside and it's like a garden party, like, I'm just getting like soft feminine vibes. That's kind of what I want. And even with like earrings, like if you're going to pull your hair back, you should wear some like bigger earrings so we can see it. I definitely think she needed like a necklace, something soft and dainty. Just keep it simple. Let's talk about contestant number 3, Brianna. So in this dress, I do like this dress, but I feel like it's a cocktail dress for me. This is a cocktail dress. I would wear this to like black tie, dinner, gala, something like that, right? But nonetheless, it's still a beautiful dress. It fits her really nicely, accentuates her shape really nicely. The only thing I don't love is that it's a midi, and I feel like midi dresses on petite girls only serve to make us look even more petite. I'm petite, so like I get it. So that would be one thing, like I would stay away from midi dresses. It just make us look short. And then we're going to hop over to Reagan. So Reagan's wearing a jumpsuit. So this is something that I've noticed about Reagan, is that sometimes she tends to wear things that don't they're not fitted. They're very loose. So they end up just kind of like not complementing the body, not showing the shape of the body, just very big. And that's not ever something you really want to do in a pageant. And especially a Miss Universe pageant. I just think that, and again, she's patterns on here and not a big fan of patterns, unfortunately. I just feel like this fits really, really big. It's really, really loose. And I don't think it does anything for her body. She's a great body. She's an Olympic gymnast. She's a great body. So there's no reason why she should be trying to like hide her body at any means. But again, accessorize. She could have gone with some bigger earrings that make more of a bigger statement. And a simple necklace. I can't tell. Maybe she is wearing something here. It's not very clear. Just a simple necklace. And definitely this hairstyle, half up. It looks like a half up hairstyle. She has to be careful because sometimes with these half up hairstyles, you have to really know your face. And she does kind of have a youthful face, like almost like a teen face, like very young looking. So she has to be careful how she styles her hair because it's going to make her look too young, like Miss Teen kind of vibes, you know? So that's one thing I would say that I've noticed about her is like the hairstyling sometimes can make her look really young. Over to Tracy. So for me, Tracy is wearing this purple fitted dress. I feel like it's giving work vibes. So it's not exactly the most suited dress for this for me personally. And it's a midi dress as well. And she is petite. So again, I would just like stay away from like the midi dresses. And then she's got her hair pulled back, but it's like kind of slicked back as well. And again, I would just want a softer do, like something more romantic and fun. Then we over to Tia. So Tia is someone who does like to take risk. I noticed with her styling, she's very unique in her styling. And I don't know that this outfit really meets the mark. I feel like it's a bit different. It might be a little bit too different. She's wearing sort of like a shawl or something over the dress. And you have to think about, you know, your environment. Where are you going? Where are you going to be? You're going to be outside. And it's the middle of summer. So like Cayman is like really, really hot, unfortunately. You know, I think that she could have just maybe worn the dress by itself without the shawl. She's wearing sort of this minty aqua kind of color dress. It's okay, but you can't really see it because of the shawl. It does look like it's kind of like spaghetti strapped. And maybe that's why she felt like she needed to wear a shawl. But I would have probably rather that than with the shawl. I think, again, her hair is so gorgeous. She has these gorgeous curls. Girl, let the curls out. Be bouncy with it. Let them make a statement. I can tell that her hair looks like it's freshly washed. So it doesn't have quite that much volume in it. And then last girl is Rhonda. So for me, with Rhonda, she kind of pedals back and forth between two extremes. Sometimes I look at her styling and I feel like she looks very teen, very young. And then other times I feel like I look at her styling and I feel like she looks a little too mature, like past her age mature. So I just want her to pay attention to that. She is very much a conservative dresser. Like, we don't get a lot of skin from her. We don't get like cleavage. We don't get a lot of leg. We don't get back. We don't get sides. We don't get a lot from her, which unfortunately for me, like when I think about the Miss Universe brand, those are all things that I see. Like, I see very sexy, very glamorous, very edgy. You know, she's a glam goddess, Miss Universe, in my eyes, at least. That's what I see. Comment down below how you would describe the Miss Universe brand, because that's how I would describe it, and I want to hear from you guys if you see the same things. So for me, Rhonda is a very conservative dresser, and I feel like this dress, it doesn't make her look her age, and it doesn't do anything for her, unfortunately. You know, it's flowers, it's yellow, there's golds, there's very dark green in there. I just feel like it doesn't do anything for her, and she's such a beautiful girl. It's just the styling for me is not in alignment with Miss Universe. She's got the big pearls, which I don't think was really necessary for this dress. So yeah, like I think she really has to focus on making sure that she dresses her age and that she's dressing in alignment with Miss Universe brand. So that's pretty much some the things I've been noticing about the girls when they style themselves. Like, those are things that keep recurring with the girls, and so that's something that I think needs to be addressed and worked on with the contestants every year, is maybe teaching them about the Miss Universe brand. And because it's all good and well to say you need to dress in alignment with Miss Universe, you need to dress, sexy, you need to dress this way, that way. But if you don't actually teach them what that means, they're just gonna go to the store and buy things that they think looks that way to them, and they're not realizing that what they're naturally drawn to is exactly not what we are asking you to do. So I think that just needs to be addressed. So they also had their sashing ceremony recently, and that's where they got their sponsor sashes. I didn't go because I think was I away for that? I was away, I think. And then they all had to do speeches. And from what I saw on the Instagram, it looked like their speeches mostly consisted of, introducing themselves, talking about why they entered the competition, mentioning their sponsor, talking a little bit about the business, and mentioning the platform organization and sharing some information about that. I thought for the most part, they all sounded really, really well-spoken. Even the girls that I noted at the very beginning of the journey who had some struggles with public speaking did well. So that's great to see that transformation happening. For me, I felt like most of the speeches were well written. Couple of transition issues, like transitioning from one topic to the next for a few girls. I thought that, they also mentioned their own personal platforms. So a lot of them have personal platforms that they support as well. So I thought that was nice to hear. I really wish that we had gotten more out of the girls as it relates to their sponsors and out of their platform organizations. I feel like when you're getting sponsored, your speech should really focus on the sponsor and highlighting their business and what they do for what they do for business. And then also, if you're going to mention the organization, a lot of girls mention, the statistics, like, I think it was heart disease is the number one killer for women in the Cayman Islands, which is great, right? To mention that and to drive that point home. But if you're like me, a pageant fan, and you've been listening to all the radio interviews, you would have heard all of that information already. What I wanted to hear was more of how does this organization support the community? What are they doing to raise awareness about about heart disease and other heart conditions out there? So I wanted to hear a little bit more about that. And there were a couple girls who did mention what they do and the type of resources that they offer, but I wish that we could heard more about that. Now let's talk about, the motorcade. They did the motorcade. I thought the outfits were they were okay. One thing I noticed with this group of girls this year is that when they style themselves, it feels like everybody is going to a different event and there's not a common thread. So again, I just feel like there needs to be, proper explanation. Maybe there needs to be workshops on how to style yourself, styling yourself 101. Because when you look at them, they do all look like they're going to different places, which is odd. You kind of want to make sure you're all looking like you're going to the same event because it brings cohesiveness to it and it doesn't feel so off. So now let's talk about the predictions. I've been watching the girls closely. Some of them I know I've had the pleasure of training one of them. So I'm going to share that now. So if I had to, talk about a top three, Aaron, contestant number 1, Reagan, contestant number 4, and Rhonda, contestant number 7. Aaron is gorgeous, stunning, beautiful eyes, great smile. She's just beautiful. She's photogenic. So there's no doubt in my mind that she's going to be on stage and you are just going to be hypnotized by her facial beauty. Now, I haven't really seen her walk before, so I don't know how she's getting on with the walking because that plays a huge role, obviously. But yeah, I definitely think that she is eye-catching. She's an eye-catching beauty. She has a Miss Universe look, so I definitely think that she's one to watch. Reagan. No. This is a contestant that I have had the pleasure of training. I haven't worked with her for very long, but in the time that I did work with her, one thing that was remarkably evident from the moment that I met her is her personality. She has a warm, receptive personality. She is sunshine personified. Like, she is so outgoing and bubbly and just so attractive. Like, she just draws you in and you love her. She's got this excitement in her, this fire that's just bubbling up inside her. So I think that the judges are gonna love that about her. She's gorgeous. Her walk has come a long way because that's something that I focused on with her, is her walk. So she's done a great job in improving that. And I can't wait for you guys to see her on stage. So I think she's well on her way. She's also an Olympian. And we all know that Olympians, like if you make it to the Olympics, you are at the top of your game. So the dedication, the commitment, the mindset that you have to be an Olympian, don't sleep on her because she's got the right mindset. And last but not least, Rhonda. I've known Rhonda for a long time. She's stunning. She has a smile that is so infectious, just incredible. She's very smart. She's very well spoken, and she's another one that has such an amazing personality that you take to her. She's very, very sweet. I haven't seen her walk in a long time, but from what I do remember, I know that she would need to do some work on it to really pull it up to that Miss Universe level. I'm hoping that she's getting there, but we'll see on Saturday, August 31st, right? So those would be the 3 girls that I'm looking at for possible placements. Now, in regards to the other girls, I want to say that I think all the girls have the potential to be a great Miss Universe Cayman Islands. It's just, I feel like these 3 are probably a little bit closer to the mark. And then the other 3 probably still just have a little bit more training to go. Now, I want to say about Brianna. She shocked me when she entered the competition because I did not see her as a pageant girl. But she has really stepped up her game in this. She's really gone for it. And so to me, she's kind of like a wild card because I could see her in a top 3. I really could see her in a top 3. Brianna is right on the cusp. She's right there. She could easily slide in. She's got a great personality. She's highly intelligent. When you listen to her, the way she talks is just so, I don't know, like so interesting to listen to. The life that she's led. She lived in the UK for the last 10 years. So she has such a broad perspective on life. And I love that for her. Like, I think that makes her so interesting. And so I think the judges are going to love her. I wouldn't be surprised if we got a tie somewhere in the top 3. Maybe we get a second runner-up tie or something because she's really putting it down. But honestly, it really just depends. It comes down to it. It really does depend. I haven't seen a lot of the walking from these ladies, so I can't tell you. And I feel like that's going to play a role. You know, swimsuit, fit bodies. We want to see fit bodies, good walks. You have to be confident. And so those are the things you have to look at. You have to be confident. You have to bring something special for evening gown. So let's see how it goes. Thank you guys so much for sticking with me. I cannot wait for this competition. I'm very excited. It's been a long journey, so I'm actually excited for it to be over. Maybe I'll come on here and do a get ready with me on the day of and just kind of like if I have any more updates and things like that. So stay tuned. We'll have more content on this. Thank you guys so much for watching. Until next time, have a great week.